Welcome back to your Daily Dose. My name is Robert, and I'm here with my pal Susan. We're doing part two of what was a an amazing back-to-back screening session of the rough cut of Boys of Summer Third Base. I don't even know exactly what I expected today. I might have kept myself somewhat out of expectations because of my general fears whenever I'm showing something that I know isn't done. Um, but I can say with great happiness that it simply works better than I even thought it would at this point. I mean, there's obvious mistakes like when I left instructions on the screen in a couple places. Like, oh yeah, add that cover here, or make sure to grab the audience laughter. Those were notes to myself I just missed entirely. But
Well,
broadly, the things you guys commented on,
oh,
you got the big points.
what, what,
You got the big points, is what I'm saying.
oh, wow, yeah.
Large themes are there.
I say that I'm not hearing you. I mean,
You're not hearing me.
no, I mean, I heard, I just didn't know I don't know what you just said.
That you guys got the large points of what's going on, the big themes of the movie.
Theme, that was the word theme. Yeah, yeah.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah. I mean, both discussions after the screenings were very moving, and each individual person's contribution and comments were beautiful. The second group of people was such a deep heart level of communication. It wasn't it wasn't really like about the things that happened in the film. It was the gestalt, as we said the other day. Just so much love. There's just so much love in both. Well, in the film, and
That
yeah, you may think, I'm sure there are things like messages on the screen, but yeah, I can't imagine. I mean, like any artist, Robert, you could tweak it forever, but it just feels like it's almost there. It doesn't feel like you can. There can't be very much you can you have left to do.
Yeah, I mean, maybe it is like you say, because I know what's behind the scenes. I know where the guts are, and I also know what's possible, especially like, I mean, one of the things I mentioned, I'm so excited is my relationship with Will, because he not only is excited to do more, it's like he has the working means to do more, because he's the professor there at UT Arlington in their film scoring department. And it's like that just changes the scope and possibility of how broadly, you don't see a sound design. You only it's funny from a tech standpoint. When something's off with sound, people point at something in the picture or something else. They don't tend to know it. But when a sound design is right, it lifts things up. When I mean, sometimes it's a single note or a single Foley sound or whatever that just changes the entire tenor of a piece. And yeah, there's just moments I know we can do things with that. Well, the great news is, I'm not operating from a standpoint of what do I have here. It's like, okay, I know what I have, and now how can I refine it to make it even more clear or more engaging, right? The two things we go for. So, you know,
For your audience, I'm sure, is your target this last group of people who viewed the film with us, and the comments they made make me feel like the film is really um, a gift to you and your dad, a gift. Um, I mean, lots of great things could happen with this film, and if none of them do, you have your dad has this gift, and you have this gift as well.
yeah, and the only reason I'm not objecting to that at all is just it's so important to me. It's only because I've heard the criticism before of people minimize the film to say, "Oh, that's nice for you and your dad." It's like if that really was the takeaway, I'd be very disappointed. I have to tell you, not because my dad and I have already gotten what we wanted to get out of it largely. If people weren't moved themselves to see what's in it for them, the film didn't work, you know. And so it has to move hearts and minds. It has to make people want to jump through hoops to be part of what's next, to see clearly what those things are. If it's nice for you and your dad, again, I hope this doesn't sound too fatalistic, but it failed. That's that's my take on it anyway, because it's not for me and dad anymore. Remember the 12th stage. This has to be about much more than us.
Yes, yes. Um, uh, um, I take your point, and I hear very clearly what you said, and what I said probably uh, um, didn't really convey the majority of what I felt, which was some of the things that I said after the first screening. Um, you the film, I learned things from the film about
Yeah.
the work that we do together, and I learned things from the film that I'm excited about putting in my story. So, the message about you and your dad was not to elevate that part of it over anything else at
So what
all.
you just said there is exactly my point on the other side, right? That someone who's known me as long and as well as you do, for you to find as much in this as you did, gives me great hope, right? Because if you, who again, you know me pretty damn well, like we're pretty good friends. We've been through a fair amount together. Um, and for you suddenly to go, I didn't know it that way, right?
Yeah, that
That
happens over and
that's
over again.
right. And
Like
that's
elixir, that
the,
it is. I'm sure you've said the 12th stage is taking us back into the ordinary world and moving forward in our lives. But somehow this time, the two times tonight I watched it, the elixir became a like a responsibility, like an opportunity for bigger growth, something that lives on. and,
yeah.
and I mean that was just one example. It was really fun for me from a very personal standpoint to feel like I was learning stuff.
Well, it's the importance of a couple things in the hero's journey. The importance of the circular nature of it, right? That again, when you go from 12 back to one, just like a clock, right?
Okay, thanks, Hen.
When you go in a full circle like that, and then you start over again, you recognize, oh, okay. I mean, there's a reason human beings have built this type of style, this type of thing, because it makes sense to our circadian rhythms, to whatever we're the bigger things we respond to, be they the revolutions of the earth, be they the tides, the whatever, the orbits, all of those things, they are our rhythms too. And so the circular nature of life is the same way, right? I mean, we have smaller heroes' journeys and larger heroes' journeys, and they're, these circles that intersect and
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
move at different times and speeds. And so, yeah, the idea of, going back to one is
Mm-hmm.
and going back, like you said, with purpose,
And changed.
transformed.
Got changed in the whole journey, but back there in the approach and in the ordeal,
Yeah.
and then to get closer to the end of this version of the journey with the resurrection, and you having told us, countless times, um, something has to go, something has to die, something has to change, something has to have um, be related to what the previous experiences were in the ordeal, and maybe it's because your dad's like a real person, you know, because as you know, I'm writing about fantasy
Right.
creatures. Um, and there's so much footage of his journey, and then hearing his hilarious little one-liners just matched up with seeing him do the things that you made possible
Mm.
for him is it's I guess I'm saying this film can be a teaching tool the, for the hero's journey. It his journey, the journey you guys took together,
I hope
and
so.
are still taking together.
Yeah, no, you're right. I mean, thankfully, Dad is still with us, and that journey continues. And I mean, a part of our story died. I mean, the A's are gone, right? I mean, that was such a part of who we are. That doesn't mean we couldn't go to another baseball game or couldn't have another type of experience like that, but that was a deeply central part of our relationship to the game and the environment and everything else. And
Yeah,
bigger forces than us took it away, and
yeah,
that's life.
and you acknowledged that straight on. You walk down that what are they called? I want to say channel, between the seats,
Yeah, the aisle.
out to the field and just looked around, you know, and your dad said it's like a tomb.
Hmm.
And but I mean, you put a pin in a very physical, sensitive, emotional way to say goodbye to the arena.
Yeah, the Coliseum was a legendary place to us. I mean, it was somewhere that we didn't have to be there to feel something about it. We went there so many times, and even driving by it, we'd honk the horn, bam, 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 let's go, Oakland. I mean, it is just a part of our culture. And
Yeah,
to have it, taken away, I mean, it's a metaphor for life that, we're all going to die. Things are going to get taken away from us. Friends and loved ones are going to die. It's the pain of the experience. Um, we don't get everything the way we want to. It wouldn't be life. As Yogi Berra said, if life was perfect, it wouldn't be.
yeah.
You know.
Well, and repeating myself from a different perspective, that too it got applied in my head toward these 2 pages of notes that I took because I didn't want to forget things.
Yeah.
Um, um, I learned my story better. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yeah.
And the greatness of that, I mean, I heard, Russ seemed to be kind of reaching for some of that tonight, and we haven't seen him for a while, for an instance, in there. But that if this can become, like you said, a teaching tool and something that inspires more of you, and I'm so grateful that on Monday we're starting this journey with, 5 more students, right, to to come in and get to work on their success stories, because that's where this thing grows. That's where the proof of what we want from this becomes. I mean, kind of to BJ's point, people want to really get a pin on that. I mean, it's much better here than it was at the live presentation. It's much cleaner, and I think part of it is because I have you guys in there, and that part is super tied up. I'm not talking around it. I get right to saying it. And I mean, even get to say the line I'm very proud of, the word exercise. You're damn right we use that word, and just letting people know. I mean, I'm
Mhm.
just holding power in space, which I think is something Annie and Aunt Linda and Dr. Crab, James, Dustin, they've all said that to me. They say, Robert, you need to just do it. Just say it, and don't qualify it. You don't have to justify it. It's true because you've walked it.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah. And they've all been champions of me doing that. Sorry, I'm hearing my dog ask for water. Hold on. Hold on, folks at home. This is a dog on her hero's journey. Stella, you need water? Come here. Come here. There you go. Yeah, get your water. Uh, but yeah, that's it, right? They have to you have that moment and it comes it just becomes reality. And that's what tonight is. It's a moment when I think, a lot of my fears about what this would be or how it would be received. Um, I think I watched a little bit of it earlier today. I know I did, thinking back now. And I think I watched like the first 5 minutes or so, and I just went, we're going to be okay. You know, I really, I think I told you before, I believe and know and have studied, the theory of primacy and recency. If you start strong and end strong, you have room to stumble around in the middle. And I don't think, I mean, I didn't feel bad. I mean, the section I felt the worst about in the presentation was, the middle section of my story, but with those cuts of the mentors, the second fish out of water, the breaking news clips,
Oh
that
yeah.
just it moved a lot faster because I knew by the time I got back to my dad's portion of the story, I said, we're good here. The danger zone felt like explaining the backstory. But when it got more entertaining and kind of
Yeah.
quicker, I think it worked fine.
Yeah, I'm glad you appreciate that because in theory, I was never did understand how the PhD story could get integrated until I
Yeah.
saw the film, and that's what I said before. You really did it. You really integrated that and made me understand both of them better.
Well, thankfully, I mean, it sounds like at least, obviously a very friendly audience, but if the humor doesn't work, then none of it works. And there's a lot of silly stuff in this, and I know it's silly, but it's within a package, that there's value. It's not silly for the sake of silly. It's as we talked about before, it's calling out the absurdity of some things that I was so glad to hear came through clearly from Annie, from Dr. Crab, from Dustin. I know James will be the same. Just bald face saying, yeah, there's problems with certain, especially PhD level programs. It's not uncommon, unfortunately, the stuff you're going through. And I mean, as Annie mentioned, I mean, student just this week that she had sent me to, and Annie is now being a James to this young lady who came to me. She's saving somebody.
Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah.
it, it's unfortunately common there, and so we talk about this being a training tool. I mean, part of it, just like, I mean, I hope to teach, the young doctors and stuff. I hope I can bring this to, some academic places and say, you know what, we've got to have some honest conversations about academic abuse.
Yeah, that's the academic part, not the medical part, and that's, I mean, it's quite something to have put those two things paralleling each other.
Well, but and the reason is, I mean, that was my story. I mean, it
Yeah,
wasn't my
it really
intent.
was. Yeah,
I didn't certainly go to school to say, let me get fucked with to the point where I understand what it actually feels like for people with Parkinson's to deal with doctors, right? It
right.
was, it kept coming to me over and over again as I deal with my stuff. And then I'd hear what you guys were dealing with and go, huh, we're kind of saying and feeling the same things. There's a human hero's journey going on in these parallel, but like you say, seemingly disparate paths. I mean, what do they have to do with each other? Well, hopefully we've made that clear, So,
Yes, yes,
well,
yeah.
my dear, I need to jump inside because I've got staring wife and daughter.
There
Who's
was a pretty little clip when Anna Maria showed up, when she was I don't know what she said, but she looked happy and playful, and it was a nice
When we
quick.
were at the Coliseum, yeah, it was a rate out. Yeah, no, it was that was a good moment. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Thank you for being
Well,
there
I was
twice. Thank you for being here in the dose 700 plus times.
yeah, yeah. And hopefully I won't look like I've been in through the wars. Is this just stunning? My
We'll
face will
come
come
back to
to.
that. That's a different hero's journey, but we'll come back to that another
Oh, we
time.
don't need. We don't need.
All right.
I'm recovering.
Thank God. You be
Yeah.
well.
You be well.
Give some love, and we'll be talking soon.
I'm sure.
See you in the next dose.
Yeah.